Hey, folks, we are back for our second edition of What's Going On in the Experience here on Fox Sports 12. And I hope you like that last segment with our legalist, Elaine Martin Perez, a lawyer who does sports entertainment law as well as immigration law and all kind of good stuff. If you leave the legalese, we'll get you that information. But we got my man Greg Vaughn back in the building. And I'm glad. I'm glad because he thinks I be ducking him, and I don't know where he got that from, Ryan. I don't know where Greg Vaughn got them. I'm ducking him now.
He's a studier of history. He
Shit.
studies carefully what happens in the past, and he comes up with his decisions from there.
Yeah, I'm a historian, Nate. I know what happens when the Knicks and the Mets are playing bad. You go on a staycation somewhere. I don't know where that is, but you always have something to do, and you missed the show. And me and Ryan got to hold it down. But
Okay.
it's good to see you. It's good to see you. The Knicks had a big win last night, so a night, 2 nights ago. So he's back on for Mother's Day.
Well, no.
He wasn't going to miss
But here's
Mother's
the
Day.
deal when it comes to my teams. First of all, I'm just gonna say this. Get out the way. We'll talk Knicks later, but I'm gonna say the Mets, right? They're 13 and what, Ryan? 23 now? No, 15 and 23.
15 and 23.
Okay.
They're 6 and 10 in the last 10 games.
Right. So I'm
Things
gonna
are
go back
kind
to
of
you,
look. I
Greg.
see why you guys are reunited here. You waited.
No, I'm
till
gonna go
this
back
week.
to you, Greg, because you always say this to me. It's a long season. You always say that. Now, even though I think the Mets should have tinkered with the lineup, that's just me. You always say when new guys come around, you got to give them time to gel. So, do you think that is what's happening with the Mets now, giving time to gel? Because everybody is out. Roberts is out. Lindor is out. Soto looks like Noto again. I don't know what's going on.
I think I think it does take time. I think in any new organization, I think it takes time. But especially going to the Big Apple, you're going to New York. You know what I mean? You're going to. There's no other place like it, right? To play sports. So I mean, from day one, you want to you go out there and prove that you're worth whatever contract, or prove to the not just the team but the city, right? They love hard, and they cheer hard, and they boo hard. You know what I mean? They expect a lot, and there's no leeway. And so I think that's added pressure. And if you came from an organization where you never really had to deal with that, right? It's going to be a big adjustment. And I think I don't worry about Bo. Bo's going to be Bo. You know what I mean? It might take him a minute. Uh, there's. I mean, you look around baseball, man. It's kind of crazy right now. You look.
I was going to
I
say that,
mean,
man.
you look all over baseball. Is crazy. I mean, you look at the West. The A's are in first place, and no one's. I think they're 500 right now, right?
Yep.
You're winning the West at 500. The Yankees are running away, with the East. Boston fired Joey Cora. I mean, Cora. You know what I mean? Alex Cora. I mean, how? I mean, the man got him a chip. I mean, he's
Yeah.
yeah, and they wanted something different. The Phillies fired Robbie Thompson, and that they took off. Right? Sometimes you need to change. Look at Cassidy. He won a chip here in Vegas with the Knights, and now you got Tort. They fired him with 8 games left, and now the Knights are cruising. So sometimes, change is good. Sometimes we don't understand why they do what they do. It's funny. Men's Day, I was talking to Butch Harmon yesterday, Tigers coach. He's a member at our club. So, hanging out with Butch and talking to Butch because his stories are the best, man. He kills me. I laugh for hours. I said, Butch, you know what though? I said, man, since I retired, everything's easy from the couch. You know what I mean? I said, but I think people really don't understand, excuse me, how difficult it is when and there was a guy, that's on the cup of getting his tour card and, different. He goes, man, I know when I'm sitting I'm looking how easy these guys hit these shots and, make these putts. And then when I'm out there, it's a lot harder. I said, man, and I think fans don't really understand. It's easy. What they see, that armchair quarterback,
Yep.
no one's hitting us. LT ain't about to hit us, So, why would we get rid of the ball? Why wouldn't we hold on? Why wouldn't we throw it to this guy over there? We don't see what they see. It's so much faster. Guys are special, that play at that level. There's no you take all the major sports, right? There's no this is the highest of the high. There's no other levels after this. This is it. So, I just think sometimes as especially the way, with the internet and everybody's an expert, guys that haven't played are giving lessons on Instagram and YouTube. Guys that never played a game in their life are saying this is what guys have to do and
That's why I
how
defer to
guys
you, my brother.
That's like me coaching
yeah.
Little League right now, Greg. That's exactly how I feel coaching Little League right now.
What do
Yeah,
you
I
yeah,
make
yeah,
a good bench coach though, so I feel
yeah,
for
but
Mendoza.
I went out with my friend too. He has a 7-year-old son, and he goes, "Oh, what drills? What drills? Let's just get him to, know what base to run to. Let's get him to catch the ball, know where to throw the ball, and let's keep him having fun. There's no drills at 7 and 8. I mean,
Exactly.
to me, we need to teach them how to play the game and know, where to go and how to catch, and
just the
know,
fundamentals, and you know what also
yes,
too, Greg, that
yes,
and I've been trying to get Woody on the show because this freaking computer is messed up. We're gonna get him, the sportsmanship coach. Just have good sportsmanship, just like you said, Greg. Enjoy yourself, right? Be open to learn, and and I think what they do to us in this day and age is they try to make kids play one thing, and I don't like that. I grew up
no,
where you could play everything.
but
You
you know what
gotta, if
else?
you don't play AAU baseball or football, or you can't just, hey, I want to play this, right, Ryan? I want to play some. I want to go
Well, well,
horseback
well,
riding today. I don't want to
well, you know
go
what though?
play
But Nate,
baseball.
but that's why there's not a whole. It's they're very specified, right? As far as being athletic and in growing, we have to let muscles and tendons rest while we continue to strengthen other ones. So if I go from baseball to basketball and then basketball to football, now I'm strengthening, being well rounded, and I'm
Yep.
learning how to compete, and I can be more athletic,
And I'm
right?
using different muscle motor skills.
You've seen how baseball, they're getting back to that. You're starting to see, you know, I don't want to say African American players, but you're starting to see more rounded players, that guys that can run, steal bases. Baseball went through a period of about 8-9 years where it was horrible to watch because
Yeah.
everything was a 3-run home run. No one stole bases. No one went first to third. It took you 3 hits to score 1 run on, because no one can get from second to home. You know what I mean? It was so they're getting back to having the game be athletic again, and and that's what our kids, I mean, if you're an athlete, you want to be an athlete. Last thing you want to do is go out there and just stand on first base until someone tells you to go to second base, and you can't do this and you can't do that. No, but part of it is not the kids' fault. Part of it is this generation, because society is screwed up as it is. They don't get to go outside and just experience and do things on their own. Everything is a organized workout. If it's not an organized workout, they don't do it. No one gets a buddy and just say, "Hey, let's go play
Let's
over
go
the
play
line. Let's go
catch.
play strikeout against the
Go play
garage.
catch.
Let's
Yep.
go play 21 in a driveway. Learning how to box out and just really honing your craft without a coach telling you what to do. Those are the moments that we're missing. Everything now is so specialized. Everything now is at 8 years old, you have a nutritionist, you have a hitting coach, you have a fielding coach. So basically, your instincts are gone because you're not using them, and
So
you don't do anything unless you go see these guys, right?
so Greggy, so that puts me in this space here because I should do African. I should do character education sports camps, and I didn't call them, sport. They were character education camps. We actually talked about character. We brought people in. So through Jordan, we're getting ready to do. Hopefully, if I could do it either this summer or maybe next summer, we're going to do a character education sports camp for girls. Okay, Greg. And what I want to do is I want to bring back double dutch. I just want I just want you to just jump some double dutch. I want you to learn how to play some pickleball. No, just things that like you said, Greg, come in. Yo, I'm gonna bring in the virtual golf machine because I want them to do non-traditional. And I'm gonna have you want to play some flag football? Let's do that too. So what I'm saying, Greg, is this is something that we can really build on? And I know there's some brands out there that are looking to market and partner with folks like our show. So that's why I'm working so hard and so diligently, Ryan and Greg, with Jordan, getting these folks on because it's going to pay off us. Because I really want to get these young folks, like you said, Greg, to understand, to just have a good time playing sports. It's not transactional. It ain't no agenda. It's just like go have fun. Strike out a couple of
But
times.
too,
It's
like yeah,
okay.
like you said, without it being someone's dad. Now you have AAU baseball. You got 5 dad coaches. That's 5 positions. So now you got 4 positions on the field that everyone else is competing with because those 5 kids aren't coming off the field, right? So for me, it's similar with my daughter. No one looks like my daughter in the riding equestrian world, right? She doesn't have Google or Nvidia or Wall Street Journal or any of those big sponsors. You know, she has her mom who has taught her. And she has Kathleen and David who are a couple that are her coaches, and you know she has our means of what I've done over my career. You know what I mean? These other people, they're flying on PJs and the horses are there and get off and everything's. My daughter rides with her horse. She grooms her horse. She does have a groom, but she grooms her horse and she does the night check and all the other stuff because we just don't have the sponsors and stuff. But I told her, hey, this is your journey. You'd like the Jackie Robinson of
Yep.
equestrian. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So don't let anyone enjoy your journey. Would it be nice, Boo, for you to have to, just get off a PJ and just show up, get out of your car, jump on your horse, hand it to somebody and get off? But I said, that's not who you are. You know what I mean? You know every ounce and every inch of your horse, and your journey is different. And this is what makes where you are more special because what you have to endure, what you have to overcome every time, because, you know, the World Equestrian Foundation, they're getting big checks from Google and, all these different people, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, New York Times, whatever, because their grandkids are, it's like having a racehorse, right? They want to have a horse and, they get these riders. My daughter's been, she's been the rider. This is what she does. This is all she does. You know what I mean? And I know it's frustrating at time for her, but I'm so proud of Janae because Janae can ride her ass off on any horse, anytime, any day of the week. She can ride,
So
period.
she's
And
a
you could go
she's a
put her on a
wrangler.
young one.
She's a wrangler. That's what we
You go
call a
put her on an
wrangler.
old one, a young one, and she can train a horse. She can do all those things. And like I said,
Well,
eventually her
Greg,
time will come.
no. Here's the deal. Our time has already came. You can hook up with Lane. We're gonna let them do some things and watch we get us some sponsors. I'm gonna say that right now. We're gonna take a quick break. Ryan, is Ray Ray in the building? Is he in the
We
building?
got Ray Ray Davidson, our own here, ready to join us to talk some NBA playoffs.
And some
A lot to talk
NFL.
about, guys. Some
Okay, we're gonna talk a
NFL.
little bit of NFL too. So we'll be right back. I got Mr. 355 in the building. I got my man Ryan V with that damn Snickies hat. And Ryan, you gotta tell me about that Japanese guy, Greg, with the White Sox. 15 home runs, 8 games. He's doing some phenomenal things, and the White Sox stink. And I don't know why the Yankees and the Mets didn't go get him. We'll be right back.
No, because they said he couldn't hit a fastball.
Well, he's
Now
hitting the
he said
fastball out the park right now,
yeah,
Greg.
no, yeah. I'm saying he proved them wrong. He bet
15
on himself and
homers.
signed. Yeah, but he bet on himself. Nate, it was what I'm saying. He signed a 2-year deal.
Yep.
No one wanted to give him a deal. He signed a 2-year deal, and
He'll be a
if the
Met or
White
a
Sox are
Yankee
smart,
soon enough. Is that what you're saying, Greg?
hey,
Or a
the White
Dodger.
Sox, the White Sox should be trying to lock him up right now.
Hey, we'll be right back.